Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's video, we will be doing my February 2022 completed pages, and if that is of interest to you, please stay tuned. Alright guys, so this is my completed pages video. I'm going to tell you right now it's going to be a long one because I did a lot of pictures this month. So just be prepared for that. I will be breaking it down by bookshelf. So if you're just interested in one or the other bookshelf, just go ahead and click in the description box or the pinned comment and you'll find the timestamps there. We'll be ending this video with just checking some things off of my focus for 2022 in my reference journal. If you're interested, just click on the timestamp for that. But before we get started, I did want to talk about a book. And it's actually this one here. Now, because it is a glossy cover, there might be a bit of a glare, and I'm sorry for that. I'll take it off a screen for you guys as soon as I can. But I purchased this in the beginning of February. I had seen it on a couple of channels. I know that Coloring Diva did a flip through, and I just really liked the images, and so I got it. I actually colored 2 pages. I shared it with my Hues of 22 group. That's Sarah, Tiarna and Jamie, and then a couple of days later Tiarna did let me know that there were some issues with this coloring book, that the publisher, I think it's Black River Art. Yeah, Black River Art. The images are used under license from Shutterstock, and it's from Carlin Douglas. I believe Carlin Douglas is an artist, but Black River Art is sort of like Jade Summer or whatever, where it's kind of like a publisher or whatever. But there was an issue because one of the artists featured in here did not give permission for the artwork. Now, it's not to the fault of Black River Art. They use images and they have a license from Shutterstock. But I think an image or 2 or 3, I don't know in particular, but were given to her Facebook. I don't know how it was done, but there are free images that she provided that were never supposed to be uploaded on Shutterstock, but they were. So if you are an artist and you do have licensing with Shutterstock, I guess you would assume that everything there has been vetted. That had not been. So Black River Arts did the right thing, and they have pulled this from their Amazon store. So the last time I checked, it was no longer available. I don't know if they're going to take out her artwork, and I couldn't tell you what it was because none of it is marked, and then re-release this. But because of that, because I don't know what her artwork is, and because I don't support or condone, and it was no fault of Black River Art, I won't be showing you the pages that I have, and I won't be showing this coloring book on my channel. But I did want to just let you guys know, if you hadn't heard, about the issues regarding this particular coloring book. I don't know whether I'm going to keep it. I mean, it could be a good tester for different skin tones or hair, whatever. But again, it's not something that I'm going to show you on my channel. If you guys have this, you choose to do with it what you will, but you will not see this on my channel again. All right, so now we're going to actually go into the completed pages portion of the video. I did complete a page out of here, which surprised me because I had thought that I was just going to use this as like a art book versus a coloring book. An art book meaning I was just going to look at it, but the one picture that I had done in here previously, I just didn't like how the paper worked. The images are beautiful. This is Forest Girl number 2. It's the second book she released. This is the premium edition. I don't know that you can get this in any other kind of edition. The only ones I've ever seen is in this kind of paper. But the picture that I did, this one right here, I was actually quite happy with it. Now let me show you the other one. Now the other one I did was this, and it wasn't even the color palette. I was trying to go for that. It was a total fail, but I'm actually okay with all of these browns and neutrals. What I didn't like is I just used up straight up watercolors, and I just assumed this was watercolor paper. It is not, because it does not move the way that watercolor should move on paper. But when I did this, this was using Staedtler Ergosoft watercolor pencils, and I thought that worked beautifully. So you get a little bit of the watercolor effect. I thought, well, maybe I'll come in and do some shading, but no, this is just straight up Ergosoft watercolor pencils. Those I did borrow from my mom. So I am actually going to be working in this periodically, because I do want to work in an opal page every single month. And I'm going to try out my Inktense. I'm going to try out my Neocolors too. And I also got some new like silky crayons, so I wanted to try that out as well. So maybe by putting it and then activating it afterwards, it works better, but I thought that worked a treat. There is still something weird about this paper. So it's very thick cardstock, certainly thicker than their regular books. I'm sorry, I just realized that might have been out of frame for you guys. It's actually kind of a long book. But yeah, I really liked how this worked, and I really liked how they felt on the page, and I liked the effect that they made. It's not going to be as soft as this because of the paper, but yeah, I think it's pretty awesome. So that is my completed page from Opal's Forest Girl #2. All right, I did complete a page out of here. This is Joanna Basford's Worlds of Wonder. And I completed this page right here. Now, if you can see this little page marker here, I'm going to keep that here because it's a little bit of a weird angle for me, and that's I can't go past that or you're not going to be able to see the bottom of the picture. But this was for Olga Rani's Finding Color. The prompt was whale. Now, this page did not have a whale on it, but I did use her How to Draw Inky Wonderlands to add some elements like this little bottle here and the little fish there. And then this was actually something I had seen on Shada Campbell's channel. I didn't watch it. I just saw the picture and just did the shape by that, and then I added some of those Joanna Basford touches to kind of tie it in, and I think the picture looked really good. This is actually the weekend right before I started feeling unwell, and so it was the only whale picture that I did for her, but I really liked how it looks. This was an issue with some distress ink. Oh, I wonder if it went through. Oh, no, it didn't. That's good. And it was just it's not an issue with the distress ink. It was the issue with my application of it. But yeah, I really like how this page came out. And this is Joanna Basford's Worlds of Wonder. I did complete a picture out of this. This is the Disney World Travel Coloring Book by Tracing. The illustrator is Miho Nageshi and Kiji Maro Works. And this was another picture completed for Olga Rani. And so you can see, as it's a 2-page spread, that you trace the outline and then you can just call it a day, or you can color it in. It's all up to you. It's your coloring book. But the prompt was camel. And so I did the tracing in a brown Pigma Micron pen. And then I just went in with some... Oh, I didn't write it down. More and more I find myself doing that, and it annoys me, but I will need to do that. So this is a combination of Neocolor 2's Pentel Glaze and Pentel Dual Metallic. That's all that's on this page. And I think it looks really good. I did make the decision not to color in a lot of the elements just because after I was done with the tracing, I was kind of over the page already, but I did want to add in some color for just some of the highlights, just to highlight some of the elements on the page. And if I ever do this page, more than likely for an Olga prompt, then I'll do something very similar. But that was a completed page out of this book, Disney World Travel Coloring Book by Tracing, and that's by Miho Nageshi and Kaji Maru Works. This I did get from Amazon Japan. All right, guys, I'm struggling today. I'm only on bookshelf 1. I'm feeling like there's issues with the lighting, and yeah, so if I just feel underwhelmed, it's just, yeah, there's just things going on production-wise. It's just annoying me. Anyway, I did complete a picture out of this. This is Travel Around the World. I didn't write it down, so I'm not 100% sure, but this is a Erie book. And this is another one that I did for Olga's prompt of camel. And so this one here, this is all done in Neocolor 2s. And luckily I did those 2 pages in tandem, so I have the dates. So I can go ahead and write that on that one here. I think this looks really good. So the majority of it is done in Neocolor 2s. It is a tracing book, so that's what the line art looks like. And you can decide to trace it. You can decide just to leave it and then color it. And it does give it a different effect because you don't have that heavy line art in the way. And I think that's kind of the purpose of this. This was another one that I did in the brown Pigma Micron pen, and I think it looks really pretty, and there isn't a lot of shading on here. So for the sand and the pyramids, there's only shading with Neocolors. And on the sand, I did a little bit of high chromatics. There's a little bit of pencil shading in the guy here and a little bit of pencil shading in here. But otherwise, I did want it to be a quick color because the tracing does take quite a bit of time. But I think it actually looks rather well. But that's this page here out of Travel Around the World by Erie. Okay, I did complete a page out of this. This is World History, a tracing book by Erie. And this one I did for Corey's Alphabet Challenge. I had started at the latter part of January and finished it right in the beginning of February, and that was G is for February. For her challenge, I choose 5 different pencils for my pencil work, and then in another page that I do, and I'll show you later, I use up to 3 alcohol markers. And so the 5 colors I used in this was a Prismacolor Green Ochre, Prismacolor Grass Green, Prismacolor Ginger Root, Prismacolor Gray Green Light, and Prismacolor Grade Lavender. And this is one of those tracing books, so again, that's what the page looks like. And so I had to trace it first, and then I brought in the 5 pencils, and I like doing the 5 pencil works. This one actually was quite complimentary, I thought, by way of colors, but it was a little hard because the darkest color that I had were these grass green and the green ochre, and they weren't really that dark, so I couldn't get a lot of contrast, but that's why I purposely chose this particular page to look like old parchment, because then I didn't need a really bright or vivid colors. But I like how it came out. Oh, and this was also a prompt for Olga, which was Finding Color Swan, and so that was that right there. And this is World History, a tracing book by Erie. I did complete a picture in here. This was a buddy color with my girl Poet. This is Hannah Carlzon's Grains of Gold. And you have to check out her, well, actually, I don't know if she posted on Instagram yet. And as of the filming of this, I hadn't seen a completed pages from her. But we did this page as a buddy color, and hers looks phenomenal. Mine, I think, looks good. It's colorful, but it also looks like a Care Bear did it. Because my thought process behind this was I wanted it to be bright by way of the background so that the white swans, and that's why this is a finding color. At least I think they're swans. They might actually be gooses, whatever. But yeah, it didn't. I think where I went wrong was I didn't transition well from the yellow into the red, and then my colors between my yellow, my red, and my purple are just a little too stark. I only used the 3 versus slowly transitioning in, so you can really see some of the transition. This was Inktense and Neo, and so I wasn't patient, and you can see the scribbles, and it got to a point with the background, I'm like, I want this to be done. I just want this to be done. And then with the 2 swans here, that's what I'm calling them, I did use my Mondo Llama acrylic paint in Mythical Unicorn. But I've ruined brushes because I don't go and clean them. And so I've been using the same brush with that mythical unicorn, and this is what it looks like. And you're like, wait, what? Yeah, so basically I kind of stick paint because this is hard. And I don't know if I can wash that off. Honestly, I don't know that I want to. But yeah, so I just dip it in and I kind of just scumbled. So I went over all of the lines. That's why even though this is Pentel Dual metallic pens, it just kind of sunk into it because I didn't keep the integrity of the little jewels here. I didn't keep the integrity of the lines. It did kind of white them out, but in some instances I didn't necessarily want that to happen. But when you're kind of stick painting, and that's essentially what this is, because there is no bristles available, then you kind of get what you get. But you'll notice that I'm a bit of a lazy colorist, and if I can save myself a step and just keep using the same stick, then I will do that. I like it, but I certainly like hers better. So when she does do her completed pages, or you might want to check out her Instagram, any of the channels I mentioned, I'll link below. I'll definitely check hers out because hers is elegant. Mine is the Care Bear version. But that is Grains of Gold by Hannah Carlson. I did do a buddy color in this. It's my first buddy color with Danny of Calligralicious, and I have to tell you, I just saw his completed page of this, and it's absolutely stunning. We went in a completely different direction. Emma Colors 2020 also did this page, independent of us. We weren't buddy coloring with her, and hers is in a different direction altogether as well. And this is probably one of my top 5 favorites ever. And it's this girl right here. And so I did add 2 elements on the page that I think completely changed the feel of it. I did add the circle behind her because I did want to kind of frame her a little bit more than she was on the page, because otherwise she was just a floating head. And I also did add the fangs. I had been thinking about this picture once we did the setup, because we talked about doing a February buddy color like early part of January, mid-January. And so I've been thinking about what I wanted to do with this. And so I did do the background in black acrylic. I knew I wanted her to be a vampire, and I knew I wanted this to be very dark. But because it was for February, I also wanted to bring in some of those pinks and those purples and reds. And I think she is absolutely stunning. Now, I did mess up with her skin. I have this tendency with skin, by way of pencils or alcohol markers, to do just one base color across everything and then add in some shadows and highlights as I go along. But I'm really going to have to practice at kind of building up skin tone versus basing and then kind of building up from there. I also did base her skin in a very light gray and then went in with some skin tones on top of that. And I don't know that it liked that. So you can see a lot more of the pencil work in her skin than you can see like in her hair. And I did do Neo colors as a base in her hair, in this thing right here, and then in the background. And then over this, I went over with Prismacolors. I used a lot of Pentel Glaze by way of the black. I used a lot of Pentel Dual Hybrid Metallic. And this I decided to color as one headpiece. I think Emma had actually colored hair in between here, but I could not be bothered. I didn't like the application of the Neocolor 2s, and so I did put a wash of my metallic, shimmery, high chromatic watercolor paint, and I think that made all the difference in the world. And then I realized that I like coloring jewels, but not or I like coloring pearls, but not when they're this small. And so after a while, I just kind of scumbled in some color and then added some white highlight and called it a day. But I think that she is absolutely stunning. And because it's the month of February, I did put Love is Eternal, and it kind of ties in with the fact that she's a vampire and she's going to be this beautiful floating head for the rest of eternity. But that's my buddy color with Danny. That is out of this book, Tales of the Forest Kingdom by Hannah Carlzon. Okay, so we are actually on to the second bookshelf that I will be showing you. This is actually bookshelf 3. It doesn't really matter for you guys, but it matters because that's the location of it for me. I did complete a group buddy color with Emma, Erica, and Poet. And it's this guy right here. Our color theme for February was pinks and purples or reds, again, Valentine type colors. And so when I was looking through the book, I was really feeling this guy. And I looked up online just cheesy pickup lines. And so I found this. Did you fart? Because you blew me away. I know, it's so dumb. And then I did this down here. That's how you doing. And if you know, you know. So I did choose pinks and purples for him. And I think he's really cool. He's definitely a Valentine's dude. But I did make a little note down here to myself that this is the Instagram filter of this guy. But that's the guy in real life. I mean, it's the same color and there's not that much shading, but it is enough of a difference that you'd be like, oh, yeah. But we also have a buddy color, group buddy color in here. I've already started on it. I won't show that until the end of the month. But yeah, I like him. On here, I use Sharpie, Ohuhu, and Art glitter gel pens, Pentel Dual, metallic, clear nail polish, I think up in his eyes. And glitter nail polish, I think that's what that shininess is right there. I mean, it's helpful that I write down what I use, but it's not so great if I have to remember where I used it. But yeah. I just think he's really cute. He's sparkly, and this is one of my favorite books. But that is Reptiloids by Vassal Psycho. I have several completed pages in this. This is She Said It Best by Jane Austen, illustrated by Kimma Parrish. And so I did this one here. This was a prompt for Olga, Finding Color Swan. Now, I don't know if anyone else noticed, but the entire month of February, her weekly prompts were all animals. All animals. Now she chooses them randomly. She shows you that on camera. But by the time we got to the prompt for the first week of March, which was not an animal, it's not a favorite prompt of mine, but it wasn't an animal, so I was ecstatic. But this is a page that I did mostly in alcohol markers. I do a lot of alcohol marker work in here. And the quote on here is from Sense and Sensibility, and it says, "I wish, as well as everybody else, to be perfectly happy, but like everybody else, it must be in my own way." And then the next page I did was a buddy color with my girl Pixie, and we did this one right here. And the quote on this page is from Emma, and it says, "One cannot have too large a party." And this was done in Sharpie, Ohuhu, Castle Art, Crayola, must have been Crayola Super Tips, and some A&R glitter gel pen. I think that's really pretty. And then the final one we did also as a buddy color is this one right here. I was kind of going for that, I think it's Delft blue ceramic ware. And when I showed this to Pixie, she did make the correct observation that I needed to add a little bit more white in here to really get that contrast. But I did the background first, and then I did this, and yeah. It's a lot of pencil work. I don't know what I was thinking, because they're just books, especially if they are single-sided, that I go in with alcohol marker. And so when I do a lot of pencil work on a page like that, it actually frustrates me more than if I did it on a double-sided page, because that one I kind of have to, unless I want to ruin the other page. This one was a choice. Oh yeah, so this is what I chose to do with this. And then the quote here is personal correspondence, and it says, "I do not think it worthwhile to wait for enjoyment until there is some real opportunity for it." and that is by Jane Austen. She Said It Best, illustrated by Kimma Parrish. I did do a buddy color with my girl Chelsea, and we colored in Lulu Mayo's A Million Magical Creatures. And I have to say, I struggled with this page at first because I didn't have a direction. I kind of knew what I wanted with her, and then the rest of it just kind of happened. So it's done in Inktense, Neo colors. There's some Pentel Moonlight, Pentel Glaze, Pentel Dual Metallic. I've actually got an Archer and Olive acrylograph pen on here. I used the entire pen on that background right there. There's some Uniball. There is... oh, I've got it written down right here. A Tombow water-based marker, mild liner, high chromatics, Inktense, Uniball white, Fantasia pencils. They actually belong to my sister, and we found them in some storage things, so I use those. Crayola pencils and our glitter gel. And I didn't write when I finished this, so I'll have to look at my DMs to let her know when I finished that. But yeah, until it got into like the 11th hour, I didn't like how this looked. Chelsea's is absolutely gorgeous. Of course it is. But I'm actually quite satisfied with it. I wanted to put a quote on here, but I didn't necessarily want to write anything. So this is a Happy Planner sticker. And what it says is, the adventure is just as important as the destination. And I thought that kind of fit to the page. But yeah, that's my buddy color with my girl Chelsea. I'm actually going to leave this in here. Because it tells me all of the things that are on this page. You wouldn't know that to look at it. But yeah, there's a lot of medium on here. But that is Lulu Mayo's A Million Magical Creatures. I was finally able to get a picture completed in here. This is Angela Gonzalez, The Magical Color of Fairies. I was absolutely inspired to get this book by Jamie of Jamie Coloring Love because I'd seen it on her channel. The only negative I have with this book is that it flips upwards. I'm not a huge fan of those, but it's small enough that I can deal easily enough. And I did this picture here. And this was for Olga Rani's prompt of Boat. And so I did finish this on Sunday, the day that she released the prompt. And I think it looks really, really good. Again, I didn't go in with a direction. I did the background first, and then I kind of built the colors around that because the background was a little darker than I anticipated. Everything else is light on the page. There's lots of glitter on here. I used my high chromatics on here, Pentel Glaze on here. But again, it's fun, it's vibrant, and it's a really cute coloring book. Her monthly prompt for March is Share a Smile, and I think this is a coloring book that I can basically choose any page and it'll fit that prompt. Oh, that might actually be a good one for that. But yeah, that is The Magical Colors of Fairies, a coloring book by Angela Gonzalez. This is a coloring book by Adam Fisher called Gods and Beasts. This one I was actually inspired by Olga Rani because I had seen her starter page in here and it was absolutely gorgeous. And the page that I did was this one. Now I laugh because most of my collection is really whimsical, fantasy, cutesy. And then you've got this one, and I don't know, there's just something about this coloring book that I find so visually striking. Now, some of the images on here are actually kind of gross. Let me find one for you. So there's this one here with all of the eyes. And this actually, I know there's a word for it, but when you don't like circles or holes or things. So this one, it's very gross to me. And this one right here, I'm okay with about 99% of it, except that long jaw. It's really creepy to me. Not gonna lie though, if she comes up with a monster prompt or something, he might be first on the list. But this was the page that I completed. The prompt was dog, and this is a black shuck. It's from Britain, and Britain has many tales of spectral dogs. Black shuck was a monstrous creature with glowing eyes that was believed to be a portent of approaching death. Now, if you've read the Harry Potter series, you're probably like Oh, I wonder if that was her inspiration. And because I colored the dog all in brown, I knew that I wanted everything else to be super bright and vibrant, kind of just to play off him because he is so just brown and muted. Because spectral, I would imagine, is actually more greens, but I do like how I did this. And then my trick always is when I'm trying to get that highlighted effect, I just use highlighters. I know. So revolutionary. But that is Adam Fisher's Gods and Beasts. I did complete 2 pages out of here. This is Carla Magana's Spooklets. And I actually did with this one with you guys on camera. This is Valentina, and I did this with Sharpie, Crayola skin markers, crayons, and nail polish. This went towards my collab with Tiarna, Sarah, and Jamie of Hues of 22. This also counted towards Patty and Kathy's You Make My Heart Pop hashtag, and she was just done in a variety of pinks and purples. And yeah, if you saw that video, you saw that I kind of messed that up over here, but that's okay. And then this is a new buddy color with me, but certainly not the last. And I did this as a buddy color with my girl Jenn, 1975. She's on Instagram. I'll link her page below. And when I saw this image, I absolutely thought of Jessica Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. If you've never seen the film, I don't recommend it. It's kind of meh, but her character has always been quite iconic to me. And so the one line I always remember from Jessica Rabbit is, "I'm not bad, I'm just drawn that way." If you want to, go ahead and Google Jessica Rabbit and you'll see what I mean. But she's done in Ohuhu Pentel Dual Hybrid Metallic, Kira Rich Glitter Highlighter, and for her dress right there, I have found that if I put a base of alcohol marker and then I put the Pentel Dual, it actually kind of makes it look like fabric, especially if you're taking pictures of it. But she was a really quick color. I did actually add in this section right here. Her hair was here, but I thought that looked a bit odd, so I just made her have even bigger hair so that she just kind of takes that part of the page, and I think she's absolutely beautiful. I do have a couple of buddy colors set up for March in here, but yeah, that is Spooklet's Sketchbook by Carla Magana. This was a buddy color with my girl Sarah. This is My Secret Bookish Life by Epic Page. And we decided to do this. This actually counts towards color the cover, because this is the cover of the book right there. Hers is absolutely fabulous. And I decided to make this as dark as I can, but I also did a variety of layers because alcohol markers are transparent. I could actually color in elements behind here and then put a wash of a color on top of it, and you'd still be able to see some of the color, because these I had colored brown, and then I had done the leaves in a different green. I did some of the elements in a different green, and then I washed over everything in a darker green, and it just kind of makes it look like night so that everything else kind of pops up. And then for these here, I just tried to make it really simple and straightforward. I did add a sticker here. This is from some Happy Planner book that I have, and I am really happy on how she came out. So this was a buddy color with my girl Sarah, and this is from My Secret Bookish Life by Epic Page. I did complete a page in this. This was absolutely inspired to purchase the book by Doodle Robot because I had seen this on her channel, and I have to tell you, I really like this book. I sometimes just like looking at the pictures, but this is the page I did. I had started this out with you guys to test out, or to show you 3 different ways on how I use my Neo colors, and it's a very simple page, and there's not a ton of shading, and any shading that's done, it's actually done with the Neo colors, but there is something about this that is just so visually appealing to me. This was a prompt for Olga Rani, again, boat. But I think this is so pretty. Now, the watercolors or the water medium in here does make the page buckle. You can see where I used alcohol marker, but I don't see any of the Neo colors, so that doesn't go through. It's only one-sided because this back is just a repeating pattern page. But yeah, this is a really fun book to me. I love looking at the images. And between Sarah's Coloropoly and Olga's Finding Color, these are one of my go-tos that I look through to see if I can actually find one of the prompts in here. But yeah, I think it's so sweet and pretty. But that is Be Relaxed in Color. It is illustrated by Angela Porter. Now, these next 3 books were inspired by Pixie because I saw it on her channel. All of them that I'll be showing you are buddy colors with her. And so this is Matchstick Mouse by Morgan O'Brien. And we did this page, and what I plan to do with this book is write a little story on the bottom of it because there is a ton of white space. Actually, all of the pictures are about this size, so it could have been a smaller book, but that's fine. And the story on this page is Brandy Bunny realized that she should have asked Matchstick Mouse more details about her chiropractic skills. Apparently, she learned all her skills on YouTube, and it felt like it. And that's just because of the face that the bunny is making. This is done in Sharpies, Ohuhus, and Ann Art glitter gel pens. For me, they're really quick colors because I will only be doing these in alcohol markers. If I do some shading, it'll be very minimal. Usually it's a combination of alcohol markers and glitter gel pens. I don't know that I'll be using a ton of pencils on here. Now, Pixie, who, like I said, I'm doing a buddy color with in this, she used pencils, like full-on pencils. And they look amazing. They're absolutely stunning, but yeah, you can tell that they were a lot of work. So that is Matchstick Mouse. Whew, that's hard to say. And that's by Morgan O'Brien. And this is the Autumn Coloring Book one. This is Matchstick Mouse, the Halloween coloring book. And we actually did 2 in here. And so this is the very first one that I did. And the little story on here was Matchstick Mouse loved to color and draw and eat snacks. Lots and lots of snacks. And this is just done in Sharpie Pentel Dual Hybrid Metallic and Art Glitter Gel Pen. And it's another buddy color with Pixie. And then this one we did at the very end of February, and this was done again, all those same mediums. And oh, this is another page I didn't write down. Oh, that's so annoying. And the little story on here says, Matchstick Mouse had the kind of day that drinking a Meineken while standing on a broom on the commute home seemed like a fabulous idea. Matchstick Mouse was finally having a good day. The tree they were about to run into was not. Don't drink, stand, and drive. The trees will thank you. And this was just a really quick and simple color. Hers is absolutely exquisite. The way that she did the bottle, oh, gorgeous. But that was the images that I did with Pixie out of this Matchstick Mouse by Morgan O'Brien. And this is the Halloween coloring book 1. So this is the Christmas version of Matchstick Mouse. Again, another buddy color with Pixie. Guys, I am absolutely struggling with my words. Oh my goodness. And we did this picture right here. So this picture actually has some personal value for me and Pixie because of a story that she told me. But the story that I wrote on here was Shasta Snake and Ren Robin loved Matchstick Mouse's philosophy on singing. If you can't sing well, sing loud. However, Larry Ladybug regretted his decision to leave the house. Seriously, pick a key. And why didn't I get a hat? And again, that's just based on everything that I'm seeing, which is going on the page right here. It's a really cute little coloring book. If you're interested, go ahead and check out Pixie's page because she actually has a flip through of all of these. And that is Matchstick Mouse by Morgan O'Brien, and it's the Christmas coloring book version. All right, I did do a picture out of here, Fantasy Figure Special by Coloring Heaven. This is artwork by Maud Lamont. And I did this picture here. Now this picture was because it was for Olga's monthly prompt for February of wedding. Now, if this kind of looks familiar to you, I'll tell you why. Now, when I originally started coloring this, I started with the background and I thought I was going to go in a completely different direction. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a fan of coloring water, snow. I'm not a fan of coloring animals, and I'm not a fan of coloring people in love. Now, I'm not anti-love, I'm not anti-animal, I'm not anti-water. It's just, it's a little annoying to me when my coloring book characters or whatever are getting a little bit more action than I am, but whatever. And so I had this whole story in my mind so that I could make this tolerable for me to look at, because, you know, this did take a little bit of time. And then I colored in his skin. I thought it was going to be a lot lighter than it was, but it wasn't. And then it made me think of, oh, wait. And so I looked online and I found this picture. And so what you see on screen right now is the real life version. And what you see here is the Instagram version. And to me, it makes this a lot more palatable for me, because now it's just funny, right? Because I felt a little bad that I was just so anti these two. And then like, oh no, it's just Shrek and Fiona. We're good. We're fine. But that's this page right here. Most of it is done in Ohuhu and Sharpie. There is some Pentel glaze on here. And it was actually, it wasn't necessarily a quick color because it is quite a lot of surface area. But once I saw the color palette, because I knew I wanted her to be in this purple, and then this is kind of a riff on what you saw on the screen, then it just made it an easy color. Not necessarily quick, but easy. But that was a page done out of this Fantasy Figure Special by Maud Lamont. And then I completed a picture out of here. This is something I did over a few weeks because I did it at my lunch, during my lunch break in the office. And I did this page. This was also done for Olga Rani's prompt of wedding. I don't have a lot of couples. I mean, considering what I just said about Shrek and Fiona, it's not surprising. And so I was looking for elements in my stash that I could sort of envision that they were wedding related. So this is Bab's Bridal Boutique. Now I feel really bad for Bab because I had colored the dresses first. These are the bridesmaids' dresses. The bride is not going to make all of her bridesmaids dressed in the same dress because they have all different body types, all different things they are enjoying. And so why make them all look the same? She's very empowering. She's pro-female, right? And so I loved how those came out. Her dress wasn't going to be the standard just white because why does it have to be? And so she's got elements of their dresses on there. And I thought this was really going well. And then I colored that color right there. And I'm like, oh my God, I hate my life so much right now because how do I fix that? And so I went over with this kind of purpley color, and I cannot for the life of me decide if that made it better or if that made it worse. Now I know what my concept was because blue and orange are on opposite side of the color wheel. And so I thought, well, this is going to make that pop more. I mean, it does. If you want the popping to look ugly. But yeah, if I walked into a bridal shop and that was the color of the walls, I'd walk right out. I don't care what your dresses look like. What is your internal fashion statement telling you? And so I kind of tried to tie in the rest of it by doing oranges and purples. But yeah, I love the concept of this. I love the dresses on this. I think Babs looks phenomenal. It's just, Her shop is stuck in 70s ugly land, and I don't know that I like it. But I did submit it for Olga's gallery, so I mean, it's out there in the universe, and now it's on my channel. But yeah, that's Bab's Bridal Boutique, and that is out of this nice little town 7, and this is by Tatiana Bogema Stolova. All right, we are finally on the final bookshelf, so bookshelf number 2 for my purposes. And this is Zan Von Zed's Lady of Leisure 3. And this was a buddy color with my girl Deb Eilbeck of Instagram. And so we did this page together. When I saw her, I knew I wanted her hair to be white, because there was some grayscale in her, but her hair was basically an outline. So really the white of the page kind of popped. And so my color palette was based on that, because I wanted that to really pop by way of white, although there is some gray in there and there is some wink of Stella. Then I wanted the rest of the page to be dark. I never know what these things are supposed to be. So she is a fire girl. The quote on here actually says, "Some women fear the fire, some women simply become it." And that is a quote by Gaurav Joshi. And originally I didn't have the black acrylic around it, but it looked strange because all it was just this gray. I didn't color the entire page on here. So bringing the black around it does make the focus center on her, but I think it looks a little messy. Overall, I love how she looks. I absolutely adore her lips and her eyes, because her eyes also carry the flame as well. But yeah, that was my buddy color with my girl Deb, and that's out of Zan Von Zed's Lady of Leisure 3. I did complete a page out of this, Ladies of Leisure 4, also by Zan Von Zed. And we did this page together. This was my 3 marker challenge for Corey's alphabet challenge. Again, I didn't write on here, but I filmed it, so I know exactly when I started and finished it. So that's that. And then the quote I found for this is, "She is a queen, her soul is royalty." And that is by Adrian Michael. And these are Ohuhus. This is Geranium number 15, Grass Green number 47, and Gray Green from the pastel set, I believe, which is GG020. And I think she's really pretty too. Okay, and the final Zan Von Zed that I have in this month is Ladies of Leisure, again, Zan Von Zed. And I did this picture here. This I also did on camera with you guys. This was my random, oh no, that's the wrong prompt. It's kind of funny, and not like funny haha, but funny sad, because it's on Rach's of Pricey Colors, and it's on Lily's of Art Journeys thumbnails, what the actual hashtag was. And I missed it on both of them. Plus, I actually listened to both, sort of. Sorry, I can't talk and write at the same time. It's in the video itself, and I still got it wrong. It isn't the random marker challenge. It is the random color generator. And so if you're interested in how I got this color palette, just go ahead and check out that video. I'll link all of the channels, the videos, and whatnot in the description box below. I think she's super pretty. And yes, I did make a lot of groans and oh my when I picked the color out, but then I'm like, oh no, that's not so bad. And so yeah, I definitely think she came out way, way better than I had anticipated. But that is Ladies of Leisure, a coloring book by Zan Von Zed. I did do a page out of this, Elegant Faces by Ikuko, and this was a buddy color with my girl Deb. This I decided to do for M. Bean's One Color Challenge 2022, and so for this month's installment of that challenge I chose blue, and so this is various shades of blue. Again, it's another page that I didn't write down all of the mediums. The majority of it is alcohol marker, although I do see some scumbling of some pencil work in here, and then there's some glossy accents on her eyes, and oh no, there's some glitter gel in there, but I actually don't see any other glitter gel pen on the page. The quote for this was, "Blue thou art, intensely blue, flower whence came thy dazzling hue," and that's by James Montgomery. I do have a buddy color in here with Patty, because I think we're coloring one page out of each of our Ikuko books, but this is Ikuko Elegant Faces, and that was a buddy color with Deb. Now this is Surreal Fantasy. This is the first one that I had picked up by Ikuko, and this is a buddy color with my girl Patty, and we did this one right here. I think Patty has already done her completed pages. I know she's shown it to me, and I thought her color palette was absolutely beautiful, but yeah, I can't remember. Everything kind of jumbles in together, but I really love how she came out. I love Ikuko's art style, and you guys know if there's a lot of background, I'm just going to add some text, and this says, "Stay wild, Moonchild," and I really like how this looks. And so the background was black, and so I just used some Sarasa, like a highlighter pen, and just kind of scribbled on here to give that effect. And I kind of did the same thing with her dress. And yeah, I just think it's a really fun page. And we do have another buddy color in here with Patty. So this is Surreal Fantasy by Ikuko. I did do a page out of this. This is Heidi Hornsby's Tortured Tales. And I did this one right here. This actually I had started, but I never finished. But then Olga had her prompt of dog, and so there's little Toto right there. And so I completed this one. This one is, and we'll be going back to the office because the majority of this I've done in the office during my lunch breaks. And it does have quite a few different mediums on here by way of Jelly Roll White. There's some glitter gel pen. There's some dual metallic. Yeah, and that's all glitter gel. I don't have glossy accents there, so there's nothing raised, but there is a little bit of shimmer. And I really like her coloring book. I like that it's whimsical, but it's also a little dark, not gonna lie. But that is Heidi Hornsby's Tortured Tales. She actually does have a channel here on YouTube. I'll go ahead and link it below. I did pick up this one in February. This was absolutely inspired by Emma. Josh Lee is not necessarily an auto buy for me, but when she did a flip through on her channel of this book, I'm like, yeah, I need to have that. And so I did do the cover, which is this one right here. And I actually challenged myself with this one because I only could use the colors out of my Ohuhu skin tone set. And that's why it's all in these neutrals. And I actually think she looks fabulous. I decided not to put a quote on here. I decided not to do anything with the background because I really wanted all the focus to go on her. I think she's absolutely beautiful. And this does go for Sarah's color, the cover 2022, and that is Sarah from Chronic Coloring Down Under. Now I say that I don't necessarily post to Instagram because I've never actually posted this page, but I just like looking for pictures that kind of fit the prompt. This would actually also fit for Labella's February Color Your Hoard, and I just like thinking about things that are going on in the community. I don't necessarily participate in them, but I just like thinking about them. But I think she's absolutely gorgeous. I think this is an absolutely gorgeous coloring book, and that is Flower Ladies by Josh Lee. So I did do a page out of here, Characters Through Worlds and Times by Kristen Caron. And it's this page right here. This actually ticked a few boxes for me. This was a buddy color with my girl Chelsea, but I also used this as a prompt for Sarah's Coloropoly of Fairy Tale because this is the Little Mermaid. But when she was doing the rolls and she was chatting with Darren, she wanted this to take sort of a dark vibe like my Rabbit Girl picture did from several months ago. And so when I was looking at this, I decided to add in 4 different elements. So I added in these fish here. I added in that fish here, and then I did do a bit of a horizon line because on Instagram when I posted this, I did write in, what do mermaids eat? her friends. And so that's why that's here, because she's looking up at that fish like, oh, snacky snack time. And the quote that I did put on this page is from Hans Christian Andersen, and it said, "She laughed and danced with the thought of death in her heart." And I thought that was just super appropriate to this page. And she's really cute, but it is a little sinister when you start looking at some of the details that I've done. Not Kristen. She didn't do this. But that is the page that I did out of here. Characters Through Worlds and Times by Kristen Karen. My other Coloropoly prompt for February was Disney. So I decided to color in the Disney coloring book that Sarah had actually sent to me. And I did do Mulan. And this is done with Crayola markers and Tombow, so it's all water-based. There is a little bit of Anart glitter gel pen on here. And there is some ghosting and there is some bleed through. Now, I suppose I can color in this coloring book with crayon or with colored pencils, but more than likely, I'm going to definitely color these pages where it's the different artwork than you would normally see, and then I will really have to think about if I'm going to sacrifice some of the other pages, just because like her I can color and then her I can sacrifice. But I think she looks really, really stunning. I love that I was finally able to color in this coloring book from Sarah. And yeah, I think she's beautiful. Now, I don't dislike Disney. In fact, the Disney Plus channel is one of my favorite channels to watch. It's just with Disney characters, because this is actually based on an outfit that I found online from Mulan. I feel that you need to color based on the cherished character, right? I couldn't just color her any way I wanted to and it still be Mulan. I mean, of course I could, it's my coloring book, but any Disney character, I think there's just certain colors you have to use, and I don't necessarily want that in my coloring collection. But all of the Disney coloring books that I have, to include this one, I really love, and I will try to at least bring the color palette to it. Whether I bring any justice to the picture, that's neither here nor there, but at least I'll try to make it look like the character it's supposed to be. And that is Disney Princess, a coloring book. This is Scholastic, Australia. So yeah, it's beautiful. I did do a flip through in when I opened the Christmas gift that she had sent to me. So definitely check that out if you're interested. But yeah, I really enjoyed this and I look forward to doing more in here. I did pick this up in February as well. This is Witches by Coco Wayo. I believe it's my one and only Coco Wayo book. And I'm not 100% on this page, but I did this one here. And I think what kind of threw me off was both the background and her dress are black. And I couldn't really figure out how to distinguish between those two elements. I mean, looking at it now, I'm actually happier than I was when I was coloring it. But yeah, it was a bit of a struggle to get this. But it's a really, really cute coloring book. And I do look forward to coloring in this more. This does go for Potato Princesses and Zombie Girls year-long hashtag of Hollow New Year. And she wrote it right there. So yeah, I mean, overall, I'm okay with the results, but I don't know how I would have done it differently because both of those elements were the same black of the coloring book. But that is Witches by Coco Wayo. I also picked up this in February. I haven't done a haul video, so you might see these again. This was absolutely inspired by Jamie of Jamie's Coloring Love. And I did do a page in here. And this was for Olga Rani's dog prompt, and so this is Hagrid. And I did this in alcohol markers, and this is definitely a book that I am going to sacrifice pictures for because it's big, the images are big. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I do like the artwork in here. So I'd actually be okay sacrificing Dobby, although I love me some Dobby, because I'd want to color Professor Snape. when he's dressed like Neville's grandmother. I do have a buddy color set up in here with my girl Pixie. Oh, she's already done hers. Oh, it's coming out. But I have not done mine yet. And I'm just going to put some tape on here. As long as you put the tape right into the spine, then you shouldn't get any kind of buckling. And this is just a trick from my Stology and Hobonichi. Okay, and so I liked how he came out. Again, it's a lot of big elements, but it was a really quick color. And in the background elements, I just added a little bit of color by way of colored pencils and some Tombos, just because it brought some color to the page, but otherwise it's very neutral. And honestly, Hagrid is, so that's fine. But this is Harry Potter Magical Art Coloring Book, and this I got from Amazon. This was a group buddy color with Pixie, Poet, and I, and we did this page right here. And I'm actually really happy with this page. I loved what they did, but I'm going to show you what my inspiration was for this. It's this bag of sweet tarts. And so basically it's the colors of this candy right here. Now, I love sweet tarts. Let me actually put this away. But I had to give myself a little bit of a rest. Not so much because I didn't want it, but because my mouth didn't want it. There's a little bit of acid in it because it is sweet, but it's also tart, hence the name. And it was cutting up my tongue. Oh yeah, so I had to stop, but forevermore, this is going to be my spring sweet tarts page, and I really like how it came out. It's really colorful, it's very springy, but it also makes me think of the candy. So this is Mythographic Enchanted Castles. Oh yeah, and this is a group buddy color that we have for this month or next month, whenever it is that we finish it. And that was that. I did complete a page out of this, Spruchjisbus by Tomislav Tomek. And this was another picture that I had kind of altered in my head to fit Olga Rani's prompt of wedding. And it's this one right here. Now this one took a lot of time because there's a lot of elements on the page. It wasn't necessarily the direction that I wanted to go. I did know when I saw this long kind of scroll action here that this I wanted to make it as a fairy wedding list. That's what she was reading, and I actually wanted these to be more pastel-y, so I used Inktense in the background, and somehow I had forgotten that Inktense are intense, and so it was a lot more vibrant, and so the color palette is basically just built around that. I just had to progressively just add colors here, colors there. And I actually really like how this came out. Again, very time consuming, but I think the overall effect is really nice. I like that I was able to complete a page that went to that prompt for a subject matter that I don't necessarily like. And then I do like these rats here. I don't like that they have nails, fingernails, toenails, whatever. I think that's a little gross, but I'm envisioning that they were reading the wedding list, and then someone's like, oh, we're gonna take a quick picture, and they're like, and so yeah. I really do like this picture, and that's out of Tomislav Tomek's Spruchjisbus, which means sleeping fairy in the forest, and it's about to rain. And then the final picture that I want to show you guys is probably another one of my top favorites. And it's top favorite because I think it just looks so visually stunning. Plus it was so easy to do. This was a buddy color with my girl Anne of Pretty Pages 71. And it's this page right here. And this is done all in water-based marker. So I've got some Tombos on here. I've got some mild liners, some twin tones. I've got some Pentel dual glaze metallic. I've got some Uniball white, and I just think it is absolutely beautiful. It's bright, it's vibrant. There are tons and tons of layers of water-based marker on here. And there's absolutely no bleed through. There's not even any ghosting that I can see. And it makes it, because they are quite detailed, but it just makes it so effortless and easy to color. I could not be happier with that. Now, with that said, this is a buddy color that I have with my girl Poet. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know where to start. What I'm probably going to do is just do some basing and some neo colors, just do a wash of color, and then just use either my Tombos or bust out my Crayola Super Tips, and then do a lot of glitter gel pen on here. I've seen, I think it was Helene from the Coloring Zone and Kay from Coloring with Kay. I think they did a buddy color with this, and they did phenomenal work, and I'm going to use that as inspiration that those pages or these pages can be done. But yeah, I'm not looking for phenomenal, I'm just looking for done. But that is a final picture that I completed for February. This is Melpomene Chatsipanagitu's Circle of Life. And so let me put this away and get my reference journal, and I'll be right back. All right, so this is my reference journal that is a Maisie Lane Co. I've talked about this before. And what I wanted to do was, I do have a focus that I want to do on a monthly basis. And with you guys, we'll go ahead and check that off together. So I did do a page from Opal. I did several pages from Zan Von Zed. I did 2 pages, although it was just one book, of Carla Magana. I did do a mythographic. I did several Eries. That was good. Joanna Basford I did. Reptiloids I did. Ikuko I did. 10 by 10 could have been the Spook Jaboose or the Circle of Life, any of the Eries, so that definitely worked. And then I did have the 2 Hannah Carlson, so I did do a hardback book. I did Corey's Alphabet Marker Challenge. I did her Pencil Challenge. I did Hollow New Year. Hues of 22 is every other month. Oh, yeah, so we did February. There won't be anything for March there. I have a hashtag called Coloring the Year of the Tiger, and that's the only one I didn't do. Because why? I did do M Bean's 1 color challenge, and I did do Lily's random color generator. As you can see, I've added them on here, and so I'd like to add them to my hashtags that I'm doing on a monthly basis. Again, whether I post to Instagram is neither here nor there, and I do have room down here if I wanted to extend this and add in some more. But yeah, I like doing a focus on various artists or various types of books versus focusing on completing, because that's just, it's for me personally, that's not important. I did want to just show you guys that I did a very similar spread with my buddy read with Andy, and we are going to be doing a buddy read every month. For the first 2 months, we did just a single her and I buddy read. I am part of her Patreon, and so we're doing a group buddy read of Aurora Rising. I'm actually still waiting for it to come in from Amazon, so I'm interested in that. But yeah, these 2 pages tie in together, and I think they look really nice. Anyway, guys, that's it for me for this video. I know it was long. There's a lot of pages colored. March will probably be the same. I've got a ton of buddy colors set up. I'll actually be doing a little bit more in here, and I plan to do a video with you guys sometime this month, but just be on the lookout for that. All right, guys, well, that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.